Hey everyone, welcome back to another IntoBridge video. Today we're going to see if we can tackle a more challenging problem than the Bermuda Bowl, which is getting Leah to cooperate. So here we have partner open to no trump. We have a pretty great 18 count. Yes, we have Queen Jack Doubleton, but we have pretty good spots in all three suits. And so really the only thing that I'm thinking about here is just, do we want to play six of a major or six no trump? And so I guess we'll start by bidding Stayman, and there's no reason to commit one way or the other just yet. So partner has four spades, so we can go ahead and, I guess, let's see, what do my bids mean? So four clubs is a balanced slam try, four diamonds is key card and spades. So I guess it's interesting. Do we, even though we have enough that we're going to drive to slam, is it useful for us to know whether a partner has a good hand for slam? And I think the answer is yes, to some extent. And because because we're going to drive to slam as well, there's not as much pressure for us to bid key card with four diamonds, because we're going to be in slam one way or the other, right? Even if we're off a key card in the Queen of Trumps or something, then we'll play six now. So let's actually just see if partner likes their hand for slam. Oh, okay, well, I guess we do. What on earth is this bid? Oh, yeah. Okay, so partner is asking for control in diamonds and hearts to bid a slam. Well, I don't have a diamond control, but can partner really have ace, king, queen of spades, ace, king, queen, jack of spades, king, jack of clubs, and the jack of hearts? That is technically 15 points. Do we actually believe that partner has that? I mean, that's what they showed, right? This bid explicitly denies a control in diamonds and hearts. And the only possible way that they could have done this is if they had ace, king, queen, jack of spades, the jack of hearts, and the king, jack of clubs, which is 15 points. Now, why they would accept the slam try rather than just bidding four spades is beyond me. Maybe they have a fifth spade. But, I mean, if we trust Leah, we are supposed to pass these. The question is, do we trust Leah? And we'll find out whether it was a mistake or not to trust Leah later. All right, there we go. Ace, king, queen, king, jack, jack. Okay, so partner upgraded their 14 count. But the point stands that, by sort of taking this more, we didn't expect to stop short of slam, for sure. But by taking this slightly more thoughtful route, we actually, managed to avoid a slam that would have been a disaster, right? And there kind of wasn't any reason not to, right? Because there was all this room between two spades and six no trump, or six spades. It couldn't hurt to sort of go slowly and see what we could learn. And again, there was no rush to bid key card either, because we still, if partner bid four spades or whatever else, we were still going to bid key card, right? Our plan was to bid six spades or six no. It wasn't until partner made this very surprising five spade bid that we sort of had a change of heart, if you will, right? And we were rewarded for our I guess we'll call it prudence in this case. And so all right, so here we have what I would call a very different 17 count, right? We have a lot of our stuff in our short suits, and 5-5 in spades and diamonds. First of all, we don't really, I don't think, have a way to show Michael's type thing with spades and diamonds. Second of all, even though we have 17 points, it's not really enough to double and bid, because we want to start getting our suits off our chest, right? Our hand is about spades and diamonds. And if we start with double, we'll have shown neither of those things. And in fact, we'll have even misled partner a little bit by them thinking we have hearts, and that's no good, right? So especially with two suited hands, it's even though you might have the high card or even the playing strength to double and bid, it's often right to start by bidding one of them. It's the same principle as when you're opening one of a suit versus two clubs, which is that you want to make sure that you actually get your suits off your chest, and you often are going to be able to jump or do something later in the auction to convince partner that you have a good hand, such that you don't need to necessarily double and bid right away. So the danger of bidding a spade is exactly this, that it goes a spade, I'll pass. And even more hilarious than that is we're playing our 5-2 fit instead of our 5-5 fit. But we were never going to find our 5-5 fit either way, because if we doubled, partner was going to bid hearts, and we would bid spades, and nobody would have mentioned diamonds at any point along the way. Funny thing about minor suits, I guess, nobody really cares about them at all. So now the question is, how do we want to tackle this in one spade, right? So, partner has garbage. They passed out one spade, so the spades are probably reasonably divided, and so we really only have one possible dummy entry, right? Which is that we could play our king of clubs, and it's almost a distraction in so much as it might as well be a little club, right? We could almost imagine playing this hand as if this was the 3 of clubs or something, right? It feels like the natural thing to do is to rough a club to dummy, take a diamond finesse through the opening bidder. And because we want to start setting up our diamond suit, and we're maybe a little worried about getting tapped out or something like that. But because this is the king of clubs, it's a little bit less clear, simply because we don't have to worry about getting tapped out as much, right? We even if they play another round of clubs, we're not in trouble yet. And so, I'm less inclined to try to cross to dummy and take a diamond finesse, simply because I can get started on playing trumps, and they can't tap me out, and I'll be able to sort of play trumps and set up diamonds. Maybe I'll lose an extra diamond trick, but hopefully I'll save myself a little bit on the trump suit. So we'll start by playing trumps by playing low out of our hand, just because there's really no reason to start with high ones. And all right, so they shifted to the king of diamonds. That solves our diamond problem. That's, I guess, the other reason not to rough a club to dummy and play a diamond, is simply that maybe it is stiff king. So now we'll go ahead and keep drawing trump and see if trumps split. Yes, they do. Okay, so we give up our heart trick, and we have the rest. So even in our 5-2 fit, it turns out we made game. But I think doubling and bidding with this hand is a big long-term loser, right? Because either the auction is going to get way too out of hand, and you're not going to get to show both your suits, or other things are going to happen such that you'll wish that you had been able to show your suits. So you can't. This is sort of a little bit off the screen, but I was just going back to see. West did actually have 5-card club support. So a human West, we might have seen West raise to 2 or 3 clubs, and then we would have been ecstatic, because now we can come back in with 3 diamonds, right? And when we come back in with 3 diamonds vulnerable, partner is going to go absolutely nuts, right? Partner has 5-card diamond support and the stiff club. That's a huge hand, right? They're going to bid. Well, certainly they'll bid 5 diamonds. I think there's even a question of whether they should make a slam trap, right? Given that they don't have that much else, I think 5 diamonds is enough, right? And on the actual hand, we do actually make a slam in diamonds, right? We do actually make 12 tricks in diamonds. So it's not the most absurd thing in the world. Certainly partner would bid 5, right? So today, I guess West did kind of well not to give us a chance to bid again, because then we would have found our diamond fit, and we would have played slam. So here we have kind of a normal 14. Partner is making a relay to 2 diamonds to sign off or invite somewhere. All right, so partner is inviting. They probably don't have 4 hearts. They shouldn't have 4 hearts. They don't have 5 spades. So all of our major suit nonsense we don't really care about, but we do have a maximum. So let's play game. And so we'll see what we bought. All right, so partner has a good hand, but we're a little wide open in the club suit. That's not great. So let's see. So we have a club, two diamonds, two spades, and we could give up a diamond trick and set up some diamonds, but the opponents are threatening an awful lot of club winners first. So I'm actually much more inclined to look at giving up the ace of hearts, both because it'll save under tricks, and also because we don't really have a viable path to 9 tricks anyway. We'll duck a couple clubs and hope for the best, right? Hope that maybe clubs are 6-3 or something, right? And then we're just going to knock out the ace of hearts because we need to do that, right? That's our path to having more tricks. And oh wow, okay. Well, so this is looking a lot more like the hearts are 6-3, or sorry, clubs are 6-3, which means we probably are going to hope to give up a diamond trick, right? I mean, we could take a spade finesse into the danger hand, but we can always do that. Or we can give up a diamond trick. So I think we're going to do that. All right, so they really don't want to win that ace of hearts. That's funny. Okay, so now the question is, right, given that they've been holding off on this ace of hearts for forever, we can kind of assume that they don't have another club, right? Or otherwise they would have certainly won the ace of hearts far, far sooner and ran their club suit. So we know that West has 6 clubs and 2 hearts. And we know that East has 3 clubs and 4 hearts. And so it looks like East and of course we need to keep West off of lead, right? That's sort of our first priority is keeping West off of lead, because if they ever get on lead, they're going to run all their clubs, and that's really bad. So we could take a spade finesse, right? But that's taking it into West, and that's we don't really want to do that if we can help it. Or we could try to play on diamonds. And the interesting thing about playing on diamonds, right, is that if we play a diamond now, right, and West follows low, then we could safely just play low from dummy and be confident that East will win it. But when West plays the 9, unfortunately, there's a diamond that's lower than the 9, right? The opponent started with Queen, Jack, 10, 9, and a low diamond. And so there's a diamond lower than the 9, and if East has it and we play low, then West is going to get it. So we can't afford to do that, right? And here, so we see, had we played low on this 9 of diamonds, it would have been very bad, because East would have gotten in and been able to, West would have gotten in and been able to run their clubs. So now the question is, right, we sort of have a guess, right? We could play on diamonds. We could keep playing on diamonds, right? We could even, play a spade to our hand and play another diamond towards dummy, for example. And, I guess if we're going to play diamonds, there's no reason not to do that, right? The counter argument for doing that, of course, is that, or I guess the counter argument for playing on diamonds at all is that we're giving up on the spade finesse, right? Because we kind of have to choose at this point: do we want to take a spade finesse, or do we want to play for East to have 3 diamonds? And if and for that matter, if East has 4 diamonds, right, we're not down yet, because East, we play the king of diamonds, we find out diamonds were 4-1, and we can still take a spade finesse. We haven't gone down yet, and so I think that sort of sways it towards it making sense to just keep playing diamonds and to play them from dummy, right? So here, we can't really tell, who has the queen of diamonds at this point, right? Does West could plausibly have the queen of diamonds, East could plausibly have the queen of diamonds. There's really not much to go on here. The only thing, I guess, let's see, if West has the queen of diamonds, they started with 3 diamonds and 2 hearts and 6 clubs and a doubleton spade. And if East has the queen of diamonds, then spades were 3-3, and so there's really there's not a lot to go on here, but I think we're going to play East for the queen of diamonds and hope for the best. right? So, and we were successful. And it also, I forgot to add, has the added bonus of us getting to beer, right? Oh, what is this? East had a club? What? Sorry, what? I, okay. I guess, I guess it was the same tricks because yeah, I guess it was, right? Because if they had won the Ace of Hearts, they could have rattled off a bunch of club tricks, but they would have been down one as well. And here I still went down one. So, okay. Well, I guess East played a fun trick on me, and I was all happy about beering and about the getting the diamonds right. That was very cruel, actually. Well done by East to give me some hope. So here, a partner made a support double. I have values, but I don't really have anywhere to go, right? We don't have we don't have an 8-card heart fit. I only have a doubleton diamond. Partner rates to have 3 spades and 3 hearts, which means that, and 4 diamonds. So at best they have 3 clubs, probably. And I don't really have enough high cards to want to be competing that badly. So, even though I have stuff, it's kind of scattered bad stuff, and so I don't really want to be bidding. Especially equal red again. Equal red is the worst time to be competing. And, of course, equal white being the best. So here, partner's leading the Ace of Hearts. Looks like they have the Ace King of Hearts. And what we'd really like them to do if they have the Ace of Diamonds, though, is we'd really like them to shift to either a low diamond, probably, or even Ace of a Diamond is okay, because what we're actually going to do is we're going to be able to overruff dummies 7 of spades with the 10, right? So just in case Leah happens to give a little bit of suit preference, we'll play the 5 hearts. And thanks for the diamond shift there, partner. Really appreciate that. And so partner shifted their doubleton club, and declarer is going after clubs. So even though partner is roughing this, if partner roughs this, declarer is going to pitch their heart loser. So we kind of have to cover this because we can't afford to let partner or let declarer pitch that thing, and partner's still going to overruff as they did. All right, so there we go. What is happening? Okay, so partner's playing spades for some inexplicable reason, and I still don't know why partner played spades, but it looks like that's the end of our tricks because, yeah, that is the end of our tricks. Right, so partner might have played a diamond earlier at literally any point instead of doing the things that they did, and that might have been better because they could kind of see that, if I have something in diamonds, that's good, or maybe if I have a doubleton diamond, that's also good. So, I think partner should have played diamonds earlier in this hand. But, it worked out. It probably would have worked out the same because then declarer just plays trumps. So anyway, all right, partner bid puppet stamen. Partner bid 3 clubs puppet stamen, which is by far the worst form of puppet stamen to play. I'll play it if you really twist my arm, but it's the one convention that I think nobody should play because it's almost you give up very little by switching to playing 2-no as puppet stamen and playing 3 clubs shows diamonds. Right? The only thing you really give up is when you're weak with both minors, now you kind of either have to guess to transfer to a minor or, just play in 1-no. But otherwise, and you lose opener's ability to super accept diamonds, I guess. But what you gain is you prevent them from being able to make a lead directing double of 3 clubs, which is really, really important, right? Because a lot of the time when you bid puppet stamen, you're doing it because you want to bid 3-no, but you kind of want to make sure that there isn't a better place to play first, right? And so, when you're bidding, when you're bidding puppet stamen, the last thing in the world you want to do when you're sort of doing a precautionary check is help the opponents get a lead that they wouldn't have gotten if it had just gone 1-no, 3-no. So that's one. 2 is that 2-no leaves you a little bit more room to do things like make slam tries or show some other different hand types and so on. And finally, playing three clubs puppet is, I guess, I'm going to actually, I think point number 3 is just, you really don't want them to make a lead directing double, right? It's really, really quite bad to have your opponents double three clubs and get a club lead, or even not double three clubs and know not to lead a club, right? Like, in either case, it's really important to be able to sort of check for majors and ask around a bit. And in fact, sometimes if you have sort of a normal Stamen bid, right, you might even gain by playing 2-no puppet, because rather than bidding two clubs, you get to bid 2-no and prevent them from doubling for a club lead anyway, right? So if let's say you're 4-3 in the majors, or even just have a 4-card major in general, you might bid 2-no. You might bid 2-no puppet just to sort of avoid them, getting what they need, right? Just to avoid them getting this club lead directive. So this is actually kind of a textbook hand for it, right? Where if you played 2-no puppet, you'd be over the moon happy, because not only are you getting to bid 2-no and sort of find out about partner having a 5-card major, but you're also now you don't have to bid 2 clubs and hear it go double with your small doubleton club. And so there's a lot of really good things that come from playing 2-no puppet. I can't really say enough good things about it, nor enough bad things about 3 clubs puppet. So now we have sort of an interesting decision at trick 1, right? So this 7 of diamonds, assuming that it's 4th best, right, it means that Eastlia has 1 card higher than the 7 of diamonds, right? Because yes, that's how counting works. Because I have 3 cards higher, sort of rule of 11, which means that East has 1 card higher than the 7 of diamonds. Now, if West had Ace, King, Jack, 7 of diamonds, they probably wouldn't lead the 7 of diamonds, which means that if they don't have that, right, then East's 1 card higher isn't the 9, right? It could be the Jack, it could be the Ace or King, but it's not the 9. And as long as that's the case, we should be playing low from dummy, because our 8 is going to force whatever their high card is, right? Hopefully it's the Ace or King, in which case we're going to wind up, with this sort of nice diamond tennis, preventing them from being able to set up diamond tricks. And if it's not the Ace or King, right, and we lose to the Jack, we were going to stick in the 10 anyway, so we've done no worse. And finally, the other thing is that by playing low, we'll learn if there's a chance that West is led from like a doubleton diamond or something like that, right? Or maybe even 9-7, right? Again, in all of those cases, we're happy to play low, because East doesn't have the 9 of diamonds. And if East does show up with the 9 of diamonds, then we know that West is led from probably a doubleton diamond, right? And that's pretty bad for us, but at least we'll know about it. So by playing low rather than the 10 at trick 1, we're going to learn a lot about the diamond suit, and it might just be the right technical play as well. And the only time when this is really potentially very bad is if West has led the 7 of diamonds from honor 7/3. So if you're playing against Polish opponents who play true 2nd/4, right, where they lead 2nd from any 3-card suit, that might be a consideration. But it's a weird lead to make anyway, right? Because, nobody bid diamonds. Leading a minor when we've had sort of a puppet auction isn't necessarily clear. It'd be really weird for West to lead from a 3-card suit anyway. So we're going to play low and see what we learn. All right, well, so we didn't necessarily expect to win the 8 of diamonds, but it's not that shocking, right? East probably has King 3rd of diamonds, is what that means, right? Because if East had the Ace of diamonds, they might win it and shift to something, probably a spade or a club. But if East is looking at the King of diamonds, they maybe don't know where the Ace of diamonds is, right? They might be worried that I actually started with Ace doubleton of diamonds, and that I'm playing low to sort of be tricky, hoping that they put up the King. And there's really no rush for East with the King of Diamonds to put it up because they still have enough tricks. So because of this, I'm going to go ahead and play low, and I'll see about trying to set up some other tricks. So we're going to go ahead and play a heart to dummy and take a club finesse. I guess we could play a low club and see where that gets us. So the 9 of clubs is interesting, and I guess this 2 we can yeah. So there's the king. We see that yes, East had king and 1, or king. Well, East had king and 1 because we see the lower club from West, and East 9 of clubs suggests that probably they have a doubleton club, or at least they have an even number. Maybe East was even splitting their club honors for some reason, but it sure doesn't look like clubs are 3-3, I'll tell you that. And as long as clubs aren't 3-3, I'm supposed to play low on this, because, the 8 or whatever, low, because worst case, this loses and I was going to give them that trick anyway. And best case, it wins, and so I was going to have to give them that trick anyway because it sure looks like clubs were not splitting. Yep, as we thought, and because of that, it was sort of a better timing, and we took as many chances as we could here, and it's worth noting, right, that had I played the 10 of diamonds at trick 1, then East could have won the king and returned to diamond, and now West diamonds would have all been set up. I would have gotten one diamond trick. But now West diamonds would have been set up, and when I lost a club finesse into them, I would have gone down, right? Because I would have had 2 spades, 3 hearts, 1 diamond, and 2 clubs. That's only 8 tricks, right? So it was actually very essential for me to play low at trick 1, and to sort of see, make sure, be aware of how important that 8 of diamonds is, in order for me to make the contract, right? And so in any case, thanks for joining, and see you in another one.